guys, welcome to today's video. My name is Tanya. I am an energy reader and a channeler, and today's video is going to be focused on an aspect within the healing journey that isn't often spoken about, particularly within the spiritual community, because there's just so much spiritual bypassing with this topic. You know, within the spiritual community, we're often told, we're sort of programmed to believe that we have to be love and light, that we have to be, you know, positive all the time. And there's so much toxic positivity that can come into play within the healing journey. And if you're not within the spiritual realm, you can have a lot of environmental programming, or, you know, your environmental conditions can sort of program you to avoid the expression of certain emotions like anger, frustration, or rage, where, you know, no matter what your environment is, there is a lot of, within our society, we're often told that the expression of these emotions, rage, anger, frustration, they shouldn't be expressed. And you can see this very clearly with children. You know, when they're expressing their anger, their frustration over a particular situation, we call it throwing a tantrum. And even this kind of language, the use of these words within our formative years, paints a very sort of ugly picture of what it means to express anger. And so a lot of us end up suppressing these emotions. We suppress the anger, we suppress frustration, we suppress rage, because we think they're bad. They're not bad. These emotions are extremely powerful. They're extremely necessary as human beings to express, because they assist us and guide us through traumatic experiences. They allow us to process our emotions, to move us out of a traumatic experience to the point of completion. Animals are really good at this. Children are really good at this. You know, you'll often see with children when they're angry, they'll cry it out. They'll cry and they'll cry and they'll cry, and when they're done, they're done. You know, they got it out. It's adults that really have this problem of not being able. We really don't have the ability to express our emotions. It's like we keep it all stuck inside, and when we keep it all stuck inside, we don't move into the completion phase of moving through an experience that is causing us a lot of tension. And when we don't express the emotion of anger, when we don't allow it to channel out of us, when we don't release it from the body, it will come out in different ways. And it can be sort of different whether you're male or female. I don't want to generalize too much here, but you'll often find with men, there's a lot of aggression. They can become very volatile. They can get into fights. They can punch walls. They can punch each other. It's a lot of volatility. There's a lot of explosiveness. And I find that with women, you can kind of tell if they're suppressing anger, if they have a lot of sadness, if they're depressed a lot. This is often an indication that there's a lot of anger trapped in the body that isn't having the opportunity to come out, so it comes out in these other ways. Other ways it can come out on a more general level is passive aggressiveness. You can be really passive aggressive with people that maybe you work with or within your family. If you're angry with them, it might come out as sarcasm. It might come out as excessive joking. Or it can even appear as very avoidant behavior. This is probably was one of my personal favorite ways that anger was starting to manifest in my life, because I wasn't releasing it from my body. I would avoid situations, avoid experiences, I would avoid people, because I didn't want to get angry at them, so I just avoided it altogether. And I assumed that by avoiding those experiences, I could avoid the anger. But then I would find myself in these depressive episodes, not being able to get out of my head, you know, feeling very stuck and stagnant. If you're feeling stuck and stagnant, it's likely that you have a lot of stuck energy in the body. There's a lot of stuck anger in the body. And you can be really confronted by this, because it will, you know, block you in your life from moving forward, because you're stuck in this state of anger and you're so unconscious about it. So what I want to talk about today are some somatic approaches to help you release anger from the body in a healthy way. And these somatic approaches are really just approaches that bring presence to the body. It's very body focused, very body centric, and it assists you in kind of being aware of where the emotion is in your body as a starting point, and from there releasing it. So I'm going to get into some of these approaches now, and it's great to use these when you're in that state of anger and you don't know what to do. It's great to if you're by yourself, and if you're not angry in the moment, but you know you have anger stuck in your body, you can sort of focus on an experience, maybe the last experience that did make you really frustrated or did make you really angry. You kind of want to channel that experience and allow yourself to feel where the energy is sitting in your body as you're focusing on the experience or the situation that triggers the emotion of anger, frustration, rage, etc. Now, usually where the anger is going to be in the body is the chest and the diaphragm, sometimes the throat as well. If you're feeling it in your throat, and when I mean feeling it, it can be painful. So when you're angry, you might want to notice, where do you feel pain in your body? And it's usually going to be the chest and the diaphragm. I know when I'm angry, my hands will naturally go to my chest or my diaphragm, and I'll like kind of push at it because I'm like, oh, it really hurts here, and I'll try to soothe myself, like trying to almost push the emotion away. And actually, you don't want to be doing that. You want to be breaking up the emotion, okay? Because the emotion, it's energetic, and it's sitting here, which is causing the tightness, the tension, and it wants to come out. And so you can actually, this is one of the first techniques, tapping. You'll notice this in the animal kingdom with gorillas. We often see like angry gorillas beating their chests. And this is an example of how animals are able to take themselves through a traumatic experience into the stage of completion. They will move themselves through that traumatic experience by focusing on their body. So with gorillas, they'll be beating their chest, expressing the anger, And this is something you can really do. You're breaking up the energy from your chest. And so this is something you can really do for quite a few minutes, and maybe the energy is going to move from your chest, and maybe you want to start tapping your shoulders, move that energy out of the body, move it. Maybe it's going to be in your neck, maybe it's going to be in your back, but you really want to move it. You might want to, hit your thighs, hit your legs, wherever the energy is, move it out of the body, break it up, break up the energy, allow it to flow. Another technique you can use, and this is a very popular one, maybe you've heard of it, screaming therapy. That's a thing. Usually when you're angry, the emotion really wants to kind of come out of the throat chakra. And so if you're acoustically not in the environment to scream, maybe you have neighbors, maybe you're in an apartment building. I'm in an apartment building, so I can't really be screaming at the top of my lungs because I would probably frighten the neighbors. So what you can do is grab a pillow and just scream into that pillow as loud as you need to get it out. This also goes along with breathing techniques. When you're angry, your breathing changes, and you want to allow that expression. So you might start like and that's a good thing. You want that energy to come out naturally. Anger is a very primal emotion, and what that means is it can often be expressed in sort of animalistic ways. Like I know when I get angry, like recently when I've been adopting these somatic approaches, and as I've been trying to release the anger, I notice that I'll start growling. I'm like, whew, that's really interesting. Like like it's very guttural, it's really in the throat, and that's because I have a lot of suppressed anger in my throat that I'm trying to work with. So it will come out as a lot of like grunting, aggressive, like growling, breathing, screaming. You might also be crying. Let the emotions out as they want to come out. You might be doing kind of all of this at the same time, beating your chest, beating your shoulders, tapping your body, screaming. Another thing is you might shake the energy out of your hands, you might shake your legs, you might, get that energy out like this, however it wants to come out. You're shaking it out of your body. Whatever you need to do, that's healthy and that's conscious. You want to bring a lot of presence and consciousness to this emotion. And, these approaches, you might use some of these techniques and it could last 5 minutes, it could last 10 minutes, however long you need to get that emotion out is going to be appropriate for you. And once you go through this, you're going to start noticing that you sort of move away from the situation that's making you angry, and it's there, but you kind of really bring your attention and your awareness to the raw emotion of anger as it filters out of your system. And the beautiful part about this is the end, you're brought into a state where, since you've released the energy from the body, since it's come out, you're calm, you can breathe, you're quiet, there's a stillness, there's presence within your system. And from this place of calm, from this sort of purging of the emotions, you can then approach maybe the people that you need to approach, the situation or the experience, clear-headed, clear-minded. You can approach these situations without carrying the emotion of anger and kind of purging it onto people by getting volatile with people. You'll be clear-headed when you come into these situations, and you'll be able to make clear decisions. You'll be able to kind of approach the situation, with clarity. I keep repeating myself there, but that's what I mean. You're calm about it. It doesn't have that hold over you anymore because you've released it from your system. You've released it from your body. And I think this is such a crucial part of the healing journey. I think this is so crucial within the spiritual community, particularly for people that identify with being empaths or light workers, etc. It's so important for you to be present with your anger and to allow yourself to express this emotion in a healthy way. We're not all love and light, we have our shadows, and we really need to be integrating these two experiences. We need to normalize getting angry. We need to normalize being frustrated. We need to normalize the fact that some of us are dealing with depression and not bypass these emotions, not leave these emotions behind, because when we leave the emotions behind, they get stuck in the body and they'll express themselves in really destructive and unhealthy ways, and they can, manifest as illness and really a lot of physical ailment. So I hope that these approaches help you, and I hope you, manage to find a way to really healthily release this emotion from your body. If you like this video, let me know, and I'll see you guys next time. Until then, peace out.